All right, brothers, I want to piggyback off of my last video. In my last video, I was talking about how, at some point you have to test your faith. At some point you have to get past, the shucking and jiving in church. You have to get past the altar calls. We have to get past the counting of the beads. We have to get past the reciting surahs or the prostrating toward meccas. And all those things are good, but at some point you have to get past that and actually test your faith and stand on something to actually live life, man. So I went down through a few things yesterday, and I was kind of in a hurry yesterday because I had a lot going on, and I really wanted to talk more about like what happens once you do that. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. And I got a few notes, man, because I want to make sure I didn't forget anything, right? Now, one thing that I really wanted to speak about yesterday is that once you take that risk, man, and I don't care if it's starting a business, I don't care if it's a weight loss journey, I don't care if it's you starting a new job. Like once you jump off and just do something that like I said yesterday, if it doesn't work, like life will just hit the bottom. You have to understand, man, that God, or whatever you call that supreme being, you have to understand that source is over there waiting on you, man. Every single time I've taken some kind of quantum leap in life, man, it's going to be dark for about 5 minutes. But once the smoke clears, man, you're going to understand that God is over there, bro. Like you have to understand that. And what I think about, and I might have said this before, what I think about is in the movie Divergent. And I can't think of that young lady that starred in that movie Divergent, but it's a good movie if you haven't seen Divergent. But there was a part in the movie, man, where everybody chose their faction. And the young lady who was the star of the movie, she chose her group. And the first thing they had to do before they even learned how to be a part of that faction, before they even got to the home base, man, the first thing they had to do was jump like off of this like bridge type thing off into this hole. And they would all look down there, man. They couldn't see what was down there. They just had to trust the process and jump, man. And that's kind of what it's like. Like at some point you have to just jump into darkness and understand or just and I'll use the word now, believe that all the things you've been praising and worship are there, that God is there, man. And I'm telling you, brother, I'm telling you, and I'm always saying I'm not the guru of life, but I've lived life long enough. I've taken enough risk in life to know that every single time, even though it's dark when I jump, source is always there, bro. Source is there every single time, man. And I'm going to say this. And this is one thing people don't talk about enough, because like I said yesterday, a lot of people want to make certain things seem like they're easy, whether it's, again, same old scenarios, whether it's a health journey, whether it's entrepreneurship. You have to understand, man, that initially you're going to be catching some heat rounds, some bumps and some bruises, but it's always going to pan out. The most important thing is, and I said this yesterday, is just the fact that you're moving. The fact that you're moving is the most important thing, because you got to understand, when you first take that leap into the darkness, you have to understand that 99.9% of all people are still back there watching. Just because you've taken that jump, you're already part of the leap because you're moving. So just don't stop moving. When I say don't stop moving, I'm talking about even when hurdles come. Even when scenarios come that you didn't see, even when people, places, and things fall out of your life that you thought that needed to be in place, just keep on moving, brothers. So the second part is this is important too, man. The second part I wanted to talk about was once you make that leap, before things smooth out, I need y'all to hear this, man. Before things line out and get to where you want them to be, you have to understand every single time you will receive new marching orders, than the ones that you received initially. And when I say marching orders, I don't know if I say that word on YouTube a lot. I know I say that word with my brothers. When I say marching orders, I'm talking about, again, going through the 4 levels of becoming. Quick side note, man, I'm having I mentioned this a video ago, Black December. Instead of Black Friday sale, I'm having a Black December sale, and 4 levels of becoming, it will be $9.99 as opposed to the price that it normally is. It's like an 80-90% drop, man. So take advantage of that. But like when I'm talking about the 4 levels of becoming, going from having an idea to thoughts to meditating on it to becoming that thing, to walking in your I am. Like you have to understand when you before you jump, you have to go through these 4 levels of becoming, right? But you have to understand too that once you make that leap before things smooth out, you will receive a different set of marching orders than you did when you became that. Like every single time I've made, and I'm talking about, I'm going back 20 plus years, bro. Every time I've made a decision to do something and I thought that I could see the plan clear, once I got out of the crowd, once I got out of the collective and the smoke cleared and the wounds healed, I had a completely set of ways to move. You know what I'm saying? And I believe, this is just me thinking, I believe that maybe God or source or whatever you call that thing does that to protect the plan. Because a lot of us, if we understood the final assignment to get to that goal, man, we would probably allow people to sabotage that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start at ground zero, man, when people know your exact moves, if they had access to the exact thing you're doing, there's a good chance that they could sabotage that. And if you don't know what I mean by sabotage, like a few videos ago, I was breaking down what prayer was and why you can't tell everybody your ideas. Because anytime you tell somebody your ideas, they're going to see you in a certain way. They're going to, like, for example, and I use the example, I believe, like I said, man, if I ever had like some kind of terminal illness, whether it's a cancer, whether it was a heart, whatever, I would never tell anybody. Because when people say, hey, man, so-and-so got cancer, they automatically start seeing you in the grave. Or they automatically start seeing you in some hospice situation. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that's how people are praying for you. The energy people are putting out when they think about you, that's their prayer. So going back to what I was saying, when you tell people your ultimate goal, hey, man, I'm getting ready to start a business. I'm getting ready to start a basketball camp. I'm getting ready to open up a club. I'm getting ready to open up a barbershop. I'm getting ready to move to South Africa. I'm getting ready to go to college. If people understood your plan, man, they will on a subconscious level destroy your plan, man. So I believe source energy is just putting in a default safety or something by saying, you know what, let me make sure he's going to jump. Let me make sure she's going to jump off the ledge first. And once they've proven themselves, now I'll give them the real means of getting there, bro. So a lot of it is protection, right? And it's kind of like, and I'll just say it like this, because I don't want to say it like this, but you have to be, and I'm talking to the quantum leapers, you have to be, I'll say it like this. I'll say like Bruce Lee said it. Bruce Lee said you have to be like water. You have to be very fluid. You have to be very fluid to live your life like this, man. And when I say being very fluid, meaning a lot of times we can get so concrete in our ways that it's like, that's how I want to do it. That's how it's going to get done. But you can't move like that, man, because if when we move like that, we're letting too much ego come in. And when you let too much ego come in, you're not allowing the spiritual side to, you know what I'm saying? You're not allowing yourself to tap into that universal mind. There's been a lot of times, man, I've been trying to do something and I was strong on it. I was doing it. I was making it happen. But I got so confident in my brain that I kind of started neglecting my mind. So when I say stay fluid, make sure you stay in the mindset where you're always listening. You're always listening to, again, whatever you call that source, man. Even on your journey, even I'll say it like this. Even when the path seems clear, even when all the checks, all the boxes are checked, you see the end goal and you can just easily jump to the end goal. A lot of times, man, you have to just be patient and let things play out. Because sometimes a lot of things have to just play out before you get there, man. So just really all I'm saying when I say that is have that balance. Keep that balance between light and dark energy. Keep that balance between your heaven and your earth, or your ego and your your Christ mind, man. If nothing else, I'll call it balance or staying fluid, man. And the last thing is just never, and this is, to be honest, man, this is the fun part of the journey. This is the exciting part of quantum leaping. This is the exciting part of taking risk in life. Never be afraid of the dark. And I might have mentioned this in yesterday's video, but when I say never be afraid of the dark, it's not so esoteric as it might sound. No, just don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of what you can't see and what you can't predict and what you don't know. It's kind of like when the Bible says, hey, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, but when it says something like, hey, the sparrows and the so-and-so, like God has already prepared, he's already prepared their tomorrow. And I don't know how the scenario said, but it says something like, the birds and the animals, like they're not worried about tomorrow. They're just worried about now. They're just living in this moment. They know tomorrow exists, but they're excited about what they don't know tomorrow brings. So that's really what I'm saying, man. It's not about, hey, don't be scared of the dark. Be excited about what tomorrow brings, knowing that there's going to be new answers in tomorrow, knowing that there's going to be new revelations in tomorrow, man. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is, kind of piggybacking off of walking in that darkness or walking in that unknown is, and this is really the main part to bring it all home, man. When I say we got to get away from, not really get away from them, but get past the religious acts, the prostrating and the praying and all the things we do, like we got to get past that. So really what I'm saying is we got to get past the belief of this whole thing and step into the knowing of this thing. It's a difference, because once you move in your knowing, you'll quickly find out that the religious aspects of it, they aren't, like, you don't really need those as much. I don't want to say they aren't as important, because I believe those things keep people aligned. I believe coming together in congregations and singing hymns and listening to sermons and counting beads and praying toward Mecca. I believe all those things keep people in alignment with where they're going. I think they're beautiful things. But once you go from believing to knowing a thing is going to take place, or knowing that source is that source, it's like those things aren't as, and I'll say the word, important to you. They're not a priority. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point in my younger years, right? Teenage years, 17, 18, 19, or in my 20s, it was like on Sundays, I was at church. On Wednesdays, I was at church. Like it was just where I had to be. But there came a point in time, man, where I stepped into what the church was, the body, the energetic body of what the church was, and I never left. So what people experience on Sundays and Wednesdays and Fridays and Good Saturdays and all that, like what people experience when they go to these things, I experience it 24 hours a day. There's not a moment when I'm not in church. And I don't care where I am. I don't care if I'm at a party. I don't care if I'm at a festival. I don't care if I'm in a bedroom. I don't care if I'm at a whatever. I'm always in that mode of being one with source energy. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm really saying is we have to start getting past the belief and start getting in the knowing. And again, once we start getting into the knowing, we move different. Kind of like I said yesterday on the video I said, man, when I'm talking, like some of the stuff I'll say on YouTube, I know that sometimes I'll just say something and keep on moving. And after I make the video, I'll say, you know what? I should have went deeper into that. I said, because I'm so used to talking to my brothers in the circle that I can say one certain thing or they can say a certain thing and we all understand and we just keep on going, just kind of talking knowledge. But I understand a lot of things I say, man, here on YouTube, I need to stop and speak to it more. Speak to it more. And I'll just conclude by just saying this, man. Like, Like whatever you think this world is about, you know what I'm saying? Like when you think about the limitations, when you think about the barriers and the pitfalls and the holes and the restrictions because your skin is a different color or because your education is a certain level or you don't speak a certain language and all these other, or your credit score might be, when you think about all those things, man, at some point you have to get past a point where you're thinking those things, I won't say are real, but where you're thinking those things are as powerful as you think they are. Like those things are only powerful to people who agree to those things. It's kind of like when people talk about racism. Racism isn't a real thing unless both parties agree to it. You can say that the people that look like this hate people over here, but unless both people agree to it and call it their truth, it's not even a real thing. Think about what I'm saying, man. Racism takes two people to agree on a thing or it's not even real. Well, people can still hold you back and still. Then we're going back to what I'm saying, and I say this all the time. Your truth is more powerful than the world that the lie gives you or the lie that the world gives you. So the world might say, hey, you know what? If you don't have this criteria, if you don't look like this, if you aren't this tall, if you didn't go to this school, if you didn't do all these things, then you aren't able to do this right here. And you can agree to that if you want to, or you can form your own singular truth. Get the book. For Black December, there's no shipping on the book. You can form your own truth, and your own truth will always overrule the truth of the world every single time. Every single time. That's why I say, man, it's to the point now where it's like, who watches the news? Who's governing themselves to what Trump is doing? Who's caring about what the dollar and the baht and the euro? Who's caring about that stuff? Because that stuff only plays a part if you agree to it, man. So at some point you have to learn to just sit in your stillness and form your own truth and move according to that. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm not saying it's gonna always be peaches and cream, but your world will form itself around you, bro. But you gotta stay in it. You gotta stand in it and stay in it.